Okay, so these are the oldest oldest pieces of literature that I have in my room, and I got a couple more on my bookshelf. First, we'll start with the newspapers. This newspaper was from 1995. Basically talks about a killer tire crackdown. The weather that day was windy and cloudy, and on Thursday it was going to rain. Federal debit costs, US 1,000, I think it says costs US or, oh wait, no, us, $1,522 each. Basically other stuff like births, bridge, business, Canada, classified, comics and stuff, but this is only like just a newspaper. It doesn't have the other stuff in it. It's just basically front page and the inside and the back. So there's no classifieds or any funnies in here. Would have been nice to get that though. And if you look at this newspaper right here, this one talks about Queen Elizabeth II, and Global and Mail. This was from Wednesday, July 1959. Look at the size of that newspaper. A full page. And take a look at this newspaper. Well, they're both the same width, and the length, well, they're both, I mean, the width is this way, I'm assuming. I think it's a couple of centimeters longer than this paper. This one's a couple of centimeters shorter than this paper. But the length of them are both the same. Like, both the same size. So anyway, we're gonna get to this 1959 newspaper. As you can see, it's very old, very fragile. Gotta be careful with it. This newspaper has a lot of big pictures inside, hardly any words or any letters or anything. Hey, let me get some stuff off the desk. This thing is so big that it almost takes up the whole desk. Oh, damn it, I just spilled my pop on the floor. Okay, I gotta pull it over just a tiny bit more. Look at that. Newfoundland. Parts of the lettering is ripped off because of how long it was sitting for. The Queen and Prince Philip greeted on arrival in Canada. Naval Guard of Honor is inspected by the Queen on her arrival at Turbay Airport, her first stop on trip. Sir Eric Boester explains paper making machine at Corner Brook. Stephenville, Newfoundland. Brownies jump up and down in excitement as they wait arrival of Her Majesty. Royal procession winds through crowd along hilly street in Newfoundland's capital. Her Majesty flashes an engaging smile as the signs guest book at St. John's. And not going to read any more because, well, we do have like 15 minutes, but just going to show you some pictures of stuff. Now, this newspaper was given to me today It's a very, very old newspaper. 1959, that's about 51 years old. We're going to see the Queen. See the British flags right there. Symbol of unity. Whoops. This newspaper is like I'd say probably about 50 or 60% intact. A couple rip spots, but not that bad. Only the front page really has a lot of damage. Some of the ink is faded out. That almost looks like the Titanic almost, but really it's not. I can't believe this. This is the first newspaper I've ever seen that just basically has pictures and nothing else. It just mostly has pictures and just small sentences or paragraphs. Oh, I hate it when newspapers do this. Sailors of HMCS Crescent, one of 16 ships on review, raise caps to the Queen. HMY Britannia moves upstream from Montreal through seaway locks. There's a 843 warship back there. If anyone can see that, that's actually a warship. Or, yeah, I think it's a warship. More ships. The Queen stopped to answer a welcome banner in Chinese. More British flags. Everywhere crowds turned out to greet the 412-foot, 50,760-ton yacht and wave to the Queen and Duke. Men of the U.S. cruiser Mackin give a salute to the Sovereign. I don't know what that says. Sovereign. I don't know how to pronounce that. There's some words in here I haven't even heard of before. Toronto's pleasure craft line the Western Gap to hail with whistles, horns, cheers, HMY Britannia. Trying to be as gentle as possible with this newspaper. And the only page in this newspaper that actually has color is the Wedgwood from Britain. Has the China stuff like the teacups and teapot and stuff. It's basically the only thing that has color in. Nothing more like baby blue. Tip Top Tailors since 1909 to 1959. Nothing better like seeing a nice old 1959 newspaper. This thing needs to be put in a glass box of some sort or hidden away. I might have some older computers somewhere, and I'll just fold it up. When I got this newspaper, it was folded like that, which isn't really good because the more you fold it, the more weak it's going to get. So I'm going to find an old computer case I'm not using, probably put it in there for safekeeping, because it cannot live on the bookshelf. It is way too crowded on there, and you never know if something may spill on it. So this is the oldest newspaper, but here are some old books. This is Outward Bound, Oliver Optic. Don't know what year it is, but it was signed by William Eddy. Don't know. But it doesn't have a date on it. But you can tell that this book was probably from the 30s, 40s, or probably 50s. Another one, God's Stepchildren. Definitely some mold on there. I just want to know, who the hell is William Eddy? Keep saying W. Eddy on it. This one too doesn't have a date or year. I've checked both books front and back, and those don't have any dates. But this is the oldest book that I have in this room. And this book was basically, or was from, like, this book was made in 1909. It says right there, in 1909. That was way before the Titanic even set sail, or the Britannic, or the Olympic. Actually goes in order: Olympic, Titanic, and Britannic. But the same person wrote this, William Eddy, Burford High School, from 1922. So this is basically the oldest thing that I have in this room, and it's almost 100% intact. There's no missing pages, no pages that are falling out. Everything's still in the book. 1909 book. And then someone signs it a couple years later. Well, not a couple years. So many years later. And then just put 1922 there. Ontario High School Physical Geography. And this book was 60 cents. Not bad. 60-cent book. I'm pretty sure that would have been a lot back in 1909. Oh, and there's a couple more books actually. Ugh. These ones. I got these books from a little old lady, but she has passed away now. Actually, she passed away a couple years ago. Same thing, Burford High School, but a different person signed it. Yeah, there's some green tape on there because the pages were falling out. Just one piece of green, actually two. There's two pieces of green tape in this book. There's that green tape. That's basically it, only two pieces of green tape on both sides. Henry Part 1, Cobb Clark Literature Series. And I only got Part 1. I don't got Part 2. Damn it. She had a whole box full of these sitting outside on her veranda. And they were sitting under a wooden box that was almost rotting away. Like, this box was so rotten that it smelled so funny. This one doesn't have a date either. Actually, it does. Copyright Canada, 1922, by the Copper Clark Company Limited. And the last one, Meringues Literature Series. And this one doesn't have a date either. So these are my old pieces of literature I have in my room.